Okay, good afternoon. My name is Ephraim Hanna, and today in this video I'll be discussing contracting, more specifically a GMP contract and what it is. I'm gonna go into talking about what it is, who are the parties, like different parties involved, what does it do, like specifically, when and where it's used. Discuss the client's job versus the contractor's job, the benefits and drawbacks for each of the parties involved. Also, how both parties are able to come to this price, why they choose this price, and how does a contractor make his specific contract appealing to the client. Okay, so we're gonna start off by discussing what it is. So pretty much what a GMP contract is, it's a guaranteed maximum price contract. So what this does is that it sets a limit that the contractor has to follow. Well, like he's obligated to follow it, because if he goes overboard, the losses or like the extra expenses are gonna have to cut from his own pocket, which nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to pay money for something they don't have to. The customer, when they reach a maximum price, this is the price that the customer has to pay the contractor. Usually they do it before like they start working. Okay, so what it does, it puts a cap on the price that cannot be exceeded. Even if the price, let's say, is exceeded, because on certain events, like some things you cannot control, the contractor is entitled to paying this, like I said earlier. So the client is at no blame. So pretty much this is an ideal situation that every client would want to have if he's building a project. Okay, so next we're going to talk about who are the different parties involved. So there's pretty much two main parties. The client, of course, he's the one that everything goes through, like the money and all that stuff, and his management team. That's all on the client side. The other side is the contractor. Contractors, subcontractors, architects, engineers, all that stuff. So pretty much what a client has to do, him and his management team, is that they come together and they decide, oh, let's say I know this is gonna cost 100,000, and then they manufacture labor into it, materials and stuff like that. And then the contractor does is that he sees this price and he sees that if it's accurate, oh, can this project be done with this certain amount of money, or is this like too little, or is it like too much? But a very important thing that you must remember is that it's a maximum price. It's not an actual price. So there's always either the project can be more, usually it's less because it's a maximum price, or it could be like the same amount. So next where and when will it be used, like an ideal situation. So I believe that it is always ideal for the customer to have a GMP contract, because I believe this is the best situation where it has the minimum amount of loss for a client. So this is often used in like big projects, like let's say you're building a big hotel or a big apartment building, where like you can't really determine an exact price for your project, so you make a GMP, guaranteed maximum price. So how they do this, how they come to this price is pretty much very simple. So first, they create a schedule of values, and what this is pretty much it's a breakdown of all the tasks and jobs that must be completed, or it's called lines. So it's broken down into different lines. For example, foundation work, roofing, the bathroom, siding like outside, or like even like decorations. They take all these stuff into an accommodation based on what the client wants. So after they break down everything, they set a price for each individual job or task. So like let's say the roofing is gonna take 100,000. They write that down. Then the foundation is gonna take 200,000. They write that down. After that, they usually set this price with the input of the contractor. Like he's there to guide them, but he gives his opinion on it. After knowing the price of each task, knowing the price of each task makes accounting easier. It makes it like more navigatable. Like everybody could like know what like how much each thing is required for each job. Also, what this helps with is that, let's say when they start building, if one task costs more than another, the contractor is able to facilitate like the money. It could go between like, oh, let's say this task was expected to be 100,000, but it only came out to 50,000. That means he has $50,000 to work with. Let's say he could put it into a different job, a different task that required more money. So after all this, like after they do all this, they set one price, and this price is called the guaranteed maximum price. This is the price that the client is never gonna pay more than it. This is the price that the client is gonna pay. Okay, so why is it often used? So this is often used because every client, nobody wants to pay more money than they're supposed to for a project. So when they determine this price, this is the price that they're gonna pay. Like later on, no matter what happens, the contractor can't come and say, oh, we agreed on this, but I want to change it to this. Like it's already done. It's a done deal. The price that they set is the price that the client is gonna pay. So right now I'm gonna go into benefits and drawbacks of a GMP contract. So the benefits clearly outweigh the downfalls for the client. So a really major benefit is accelerated speed. Since a price is set, there won't be bidding process. There won't be arguing about, oh, how much do you have to pay? How much will this be? How much this will cut all that out, and they will skip to just paying the actual money. Also, construction lenders, they like certainty. They know, they like when you show them a plan and it's gonna cost this and this and this. So, and you tell them, I need this amount of money. They like that. They don't like uncertainties like, oh, it might be this much. Oh, but later on I might need more money. They like it when you have a foundation and you follow it, and this is how much money is gonna cost you. Okay. Another benefit is saving incentives. So there's many saving incentives for a GMP contractor for the contractor. So it's also beneficial to the contractor, not just the client. So oftentimes, let's say they agree, the project, the maximum, the GMP price is $1 million, but after everything is done, the project in reality ended up being $800,000. So there's a surplus of $200,000. Usually in the contract, the client and the contractor decide what to do with this surplus of money. If the client is going to get to keep all of it, or it's going to get split. Oftentimes it's split between the client and the contractor. So what this does is that it makes, let's say I'm the contractor, I would want to save as much money as I can. So at the end of the day, all the extra money that's left, the more extra money, the more money I get into my pocket. So this will help me get the job done on time and save as much money as I can. Okay, now I'm gonna get into the drawbacks. A drawback is inaccurate cost reporting. So what this does is that oftentimes, there's things that you can't be sure of. Oh, something might cost more than another. Maybe weather plays an effect where, oh, we can't work today because the weather is snowing or this. So these are all stuff that people can't take into accommodation. But I'm here to tell you how to work around these things and how to take them into accommodation. Okay, so planning for the uncertainty. This is, I think, by far the most important part about a GMP contractor. So what they do with contractors, is they use this thing called contingency amounts. This is usually an amount set aside to address any addition or alterations to the projects. So pretty much, let's say they decided that the bathroom tiles, like something so small, is gonna cost $100,000. They would keep aside a contingency amount, let's say an extra $5,000, $10,000, just in case a couple tiles break while they're moving them up or down, or anything happens. It's called a contingency amount. This is usually another way to plan for the uncertainty is that they build it already into the estimated price. So let's say not the bathroom example. Let's go back to let's say floor tiles. The floor tiles are supposed to be $100,000. That's the estimated price of just the floor tiles. They would add a certain percentage of it onto it. So let's say a 2% or 5% extra. That it's called an allowance. Oftentimes, this is mistaken for the contingency amount. However, it's a little different. Okay, so contractors, they prefer a lump sum contingency, which allows them to spread costs among various tasks. This is very important because it gives the contractor space to move money around, like from different tasks. So planning for the unknown is the most important aspect of this project, of the GMP contract, I'm sorry. And I believe that if you're able to plan for it with like the client and his design team and his management team are like well suitable and they plan for it good, a GMP is perfect ideal situation for any client, and it has the best benefits for him. Thank you, and that